Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've posted on this channel, probably almost close to 2 years at this point, but it's been a while since I've done a model horse collection tour, and I really wanted to film one because my collection has grown immensely in the past couple years, so I figured I would share that with you guys today. So I do have all scales of Breyer models, and then I do have a bunch of Schleich horses as well. So first I'm going to start with my Schleich horses, and they have moved shelves since my last barn tour, or my last collection tour, sorry. So they're on this really tall shelf now, so we will get started with these guys. So I try to put my draft horses at the top because they are the biggest horses, but here we have Max, he's my Shire Stallion. Then we have Rocky, my Clydesdale Gelding, and I absolutely adore him. I've had him for a long time, but he's still one of my favorites. Then we have Dreamer and Gracie, the Clydesdale Mare and Foal. This is Ty and Titan, the Tinker Stallions. Ty, which is this one, is from 2014, I believe. And then Titan is 2017. And then we have Bella, the Tinker Mare, and then we have my two Tinker Foals, Tilly and Cloudy, and then we have Holly, who is the Tinker Mare. I think it says Silver Dapple Mare, but I'm pretty sure she's supposed to be a Tinker as well as like her breed. And then down here we have Jericho, my German Black Forest horse. And then we have my three Friesians. So we have Midnight, the Friesian Stallion, Luna, the Friesian Mare, and then Albion, the new Friesian Stallion. And he's actually really pretty. He's a 2024 horse, and I think he's probably my favorite 2024 model. He's very detailed and realistic. His plastic, though, is still very, cheap, like the newer Schleich models are made out of, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I think he's probably the most detailed out of all the 2024 horses. But he's super pretty. He's also very long, so he's slanted on the shelf a little bit. And then we have my Hanoverians. So we have Checkers and Prince, the Hanoverian Stallions. Chance, the Hanoverian Gelding, and then April and Autumn, my Hanoverian Mares. And then we have Storm, my Holsteiner Gelding, and Lilac, my Knabstrupper Mare. Down here we have Apollo, my Tennessee Walking Horse Stallion. And then we have Blizzard and Spartan, the Tennessee Walker Geldings. And then we have Harmony, my Tennessee Walker Mare. And then Milo and Honey, the Tennessee Walker Mare and Foal. Then we have Zeus, my Trackner Stallion, and Beauty, my Trackner Mare, with the two Trackner Foals, Stormy and May. And then we have Paris and Penelope, my Thoroughbred Mare and Foal. Down here we have Winter and Daisy, my Lipizzaner mares, and then Princess, the Lipizzaner Foal. Here is Percy. He's the new paint stallion for 2025, and he's really pretty. His plastic is, again, like the cheaper plastic that Schleich switched to in the past couple years, but I think he's really pretty. I do like his coloring, and I love his blue eyes. And he's also very long, so he's also slanted on the shelf. And then we have Spirit, the older Pinto Stallion, and then Sterling, the Pinto Gelding from 2017 or 18, I believe. Then we have Spring, S'mores, and Joy, my Pinto Mares. And then we have Aspen and Inferno, my Mustangs. Down here we have Orion and Phoenix, the new 2025 Andalusian Stallion and Mare, and they are probably my favorite 2025 models. I think they're very well done. Their plastic is still that cheap plastic, but I think they're very detailed, and I love their colors. And then here's River, the 2017 Andalusian Stallion. Here is Sammy, the Black Quarter Horse Stallion. He came in a Farm World Schleich set. I'm not really sure what year he was made, though, but he's super pretty. He's on the Appaloosa Stallion model, I think. Here is Odyssey and Rosie, my quarter horse mares. This is Pandora, my Appaloosa mare, Hope, my Morgan mare, and then Bear and Juniper, my Fjords from 2024. They're okay models. I feel like they're very big for Fjords. As you can see, the older Fjord mare is a lot smaller than the newer Fjords. But I still like them. They're really pretty. And then this is Summer, my older Fjord mare, who I absolutely adore. Down here we have Onyx, my 2024 Arabian Stallion, and he has a really bad warped leg, so he's not really standing up on the shelf very well. And then we have Blackie. He's the Arabian horse from the 2017 Advent calendar, I believe. And then we have Indy, and she's the 2024 Arabian mare. She's also really pretty. I do really like her. Angel, the older Arabian mare, and Dakota, the Pintabian mare. Then we have my halflinger, so we have Lucky, the stallion, Ruby, the mare, and then Clover, the mare as well. And then we have Casper, my little Welsh pony stallion. And then Hershey and Fudge, my little Icelandic mare and foal. And up here in the front we have Teddy, Cream, and, not Pumpkin, Cinnamon, my little Shetland family. And then we have my mini Shetland family, Spice, Minnie, and Pumpkin. And they're very adorable. I love them. And then we have my two little Schleich dogs here at the bottom as well. And then at the top of the shelf, I do have a few of my Breyer Classic models. I don't really collect Breyer Classics anymore, but I had a good amount when I was a little girl. So here are some of them at the top of the shelf here. Here are more of my Breyer Classics on the shelf down here. It's a little hard to see them, but I honestly couldn't tell you some of their names. I know that this decorator right here is the Peace, Love, and Horses model from a while ago, but this is just a small portion of them. I have them like scattered around my room, but here's just a few of them. Here are three more of my Breyer Classics down here on the shelf. I have two of the Arabian Stallions, and then I know this one's a halflinger mare. Down here on one of my main model horse shelves, I have a couple more of my classics, and then I have the classic foals down here that I have. And then one shelf below that, I have four more of my Breyer Classics, and this pink guy here on the very end was actually my very first model horse. So he's kind of seen things. He's missing like half of his ears, so he looks a little awkward, but I still love him, and he'll definitely be in my collection for probably the rest of my life. So those are all my Breyer Classics, so now I'm going to move on to my Breyer stablemates, and you're gonna have to bear with me because my stablemates, I have a lot and they're kind of spread out amongst multiple shelves. But here we have Ace. He's a Mustang Stallion. Then we have December. He's a Icelandic gelding. We have this Australian cow horse, I think, but I don't remember their name. And then we have Daisy, the Pasifino mare. My little American Pharoah stablemate, and then we have my quarter horse Conga. So from left to right, we have Apollo, Clover, Storm, Champ, and August. Up here we have Firefly and Fire, my Mustang Stallions. If my camera would focus, there we go. We have Thunder and Blaze, my two Gypsy Vanner Stallions. And then we have my Cantering Warm Blood Mare Conga. These guys, I absolutely adore this mold, and every horse that I find on this mold, I try and get if I see it like out in the wild. Here we have Cadence, Autumn, Piper, Violet, Primrose, and then the exclusive Picasso from one of the American Girl movies a long time ago. But those are all the Cantering Warm Blood mares, and I absolutely love them. Down here we have Silver, my rearing Arabian Stallion, and then we have these two guys. I don't remember their names entirely, but I want to say the chestnut is Copper, but I don't remember the buckskin's name. And then we have Willow and Sky. And then we have Beauty and Summer, Summer, my Peruvian Pasos. And then we have Aurora, Aspen, and Dawn on the Trotting Warm Blood Mare mold, I believe. And I actually really like this mold a lot, and I hope one day I can get more on this mold. Down here we have Starlight, my saddlebred mare, and then we have Arrow and Falcon, my Dutch Warm Blood stallions. And then here we have Alaska, Breeze, and Juliet, my standing quarter horse mares. And then my two little Highland ponies, Cookie and Cupcake. And then Caspian and Zodiac, my two standing thoroughbred geldings. On the next shelf, we have my one and only stablemate unicorn, and he's the green unicorn from one of the surprise blind bags, I think, and he's on the walking thoroughbred mold. I don't think I ever gave him a name, but he's cute. And then we have Dallas, my Palomino walking thoroughbred stallion with like a metallic sheen. He's super cool. And then we have Magic and Tempest, my dressage warm bloods. And Tempest is really cool. He has a really pretty Appaloosa blanket going on, and his is really pretty bay color. And I think he is a really well done model. And I think he's from one of the Mystery Foal sets. And then we have these three Trotting Morgans. I couldn't tell you their names. I think the Palomino is Chevy, but I don't remember the other two horses' names off the top of my head. I haven't done much with these guys in a long time, so some of their names have left my mind. And then we have my two draft mares. So this is Celeste, Amber, and Sprinkles, and they're all really pretty. I think Celeste is a super beautiful horse, this little gray and white pinto. So down here we have Onyx, Trooper, and Major, my carriage horses, and they're super cool. And then here we have, I think his name was Sterling, and he's on the Welsh Cob mold. And then we have Little Texas, my little mini Shetty. Flash, the standard bred, Cisco, who is this Palomino Arabian, and he does not stand very well. As you can tell, he's very like tilted. I think the concept of the mold was really good, but the mold itself is super tipsy and does not stand at all. And then here we have Ty, my Frisian sport horse stallion, and he's actually named after my real horse in real life because I thought that he looked similar to my horse. So his name is Ty. And then we have Indigo, my rearing Mustang stallion, and Midnight, my Andalusian stallion. And you'll have to apologize for how dusty my models are. It's been a while since I've had the time to take them all off the shelf and dust them. On this last shelf, we have all of my stablemate foals, which is a good handful, I would say. I can't tell you all the names of these guys, I don't think, but I will try my best. So we have Rocky, Sparky, and Bramble, I think is what I named him. And then we have Lilac and Holly, I think, and these are the two draft foals that I have. And here's my little frolicking foal conga. So we have Nova, Flicka, and then I know the Palomino is Carrot, but I don't remember the bay's name off the top of my head. I want to say it was Peanut. I think it was Peanut. We're going to go with Peanut for the little bay one. And then we have my two running foals, Skip and Finley. And Finley is so pretty. He's a little silver bay little foal with the little blanket markings. He's super cute. And then we have my three scratching foals. So we have River, Blossom, and Mabel here. Alright, moving on to the shelves by my desk. So we have Lacey and Ivy, my two quarter horse mares. And I believe this mold is newer, but I absolutely love this mold. I think it's so cute and simple. And then we have Brandy and Dandelion, my two standing warm bloods. And then we have Kingston and Maverick. These two I think are supposed to be Mustangs, if I remember correctly. But they're super cute, and I think they're on a newer mold as well. But I absolutely love these guys. I think the mold is so adorable and simple and adorable, and I love it. And I know I said adorable twice, but it is. It's cute. And then we have my two Morgan stallions. I think this is Spade and Gambit. And Gambit is one of the newer horses from this year in one of the new blind bags, but he is a really beautiful bay roan, and I'm absolutely in love with him. And then we have Whisper, my little loping quarter horse mare. Over here we have Trigger, my Missouri Foxtrotter stallion, and he is on a shrunken mold. So this mold was originally a traditional, and they shrunk it down to a stablemate. Then we have Denver, my Andalusian stallion, Stargazer, my Tennessee Walker mare. This is Sage, my Mustang mare, who is also on a shrunken mold. And then we have Levi and Nero, my two draft horse stallions, and they're on a shrunken mold as well, and I love them. They're so pretty and chunky, and I hope one day I can get a traditional on this mold because I love the little stablemate mold. And I want to see what it looks like in person on a traditional mold. And then we have Everest and Abalon, my two Gypsy Vanner stallions on the shrunken Gypsy Vanner mold as well. And then we have little Jasper over here on the rearing Lipizzaner mold. So we have a few more stablemates left. I apologize for how dark this shelf is. It's not the best lighting over here. But here we have Jupiter. He's a new blind bag stablemate for this year that I got from Tractor Supply, and he's this really pretty like red dun quarter horse, and he's also on a shrunken mold. We have little Olaf, who's a Fjord stallion, and I absolutely adore him. Karma, who is my red roan standardbred mare with splash paint markings, and she honestly might be one of my favorites in my collection now. I love the mold and I love this coloring on her. She's absolutely beautiful. Then we have Xena, who is a matte black Arabian mare on a shrunken Arabian mare mold. And then we have Outlaw, my rearing Mustang stallion, and he's super cool. I absolutely love him. And then over here we have Songbird, my shrunken Connemara mare, and she's got this like metallic sheen to her, which is super pretty and suits her really well. And then we have Phantom, who was a blind bag from Tractor Supply a few years ago, I think, and he's on the shrunken Mustang stallion mold and this really pretty black blanket Appaloosa. So those were all my stablemates. So now we're going to start on my Breyer traditionals. So we have Miss Baby Flo here in the barrel racing tack. This is Sarah Monet, and she's on the It's Just a Dream mold, I think. I could be really wrong. I haven't done a lot of model horse things in the past few years, so don't quote me on that. But she was also my second Breyer traditional ever, and I still love her a lot to this day. Here we have my two weather girls. So we have Rhapsody in black, and then this is Bacante, and she was the 2024 brick and mortar horse, and she's absolutely stunning. She doesn't really stand well. Neither of them do, which you can kind of tell, but she is absolutely stunning, and I love her. On this shelf, we have the new 2025 Chincoteague Stallion. So I think his name was Surfer's Riptide, but I just call him Riptide. And he's on a newer mold, and I absolutely love this mold. Breyer did a really good job on it, and I love that they made another Chincoteague pony. I absolutely love him, and I love his face marking. It's super cool. Here we have the Gypsy Vanner Stallion, who I named... I don't remember his name off the top of my head. I literally had his name not that long ago in my head. It'll come back to me, I promise. His name was Apollo. I don't know why I forgot that, but his name is Apollo. And then here we have Full Moon Rising, who's on the strapless mold. And she is so beautiful. I love her. She might be my favorite in my entire collection. I love the markings. I love the coloring. I got one with really good roning, and I'm super in love with her. I absolutely adore her so much. So here we have some of my quarter horses. So we have Slick by Design. He's kind of hard to see because he's all black, but he's here. He's also massive. And then we have Chocolatey and Don't Look Twice on the Roxy mold. I know that because I love this mold so much. And my camera's not wanting to focus because the lighting is so bad. There we go. But these guys are super pretty. Absolutely love them. On this shelf, we have my SPH Phoenix, my Pepto Boons Mole, and my Truly Unsurpassed Mare. And then this is a gorgeous roan. I got him for Christmas a couple years ago, I think. And I absolutely love his roaning. He's super cute. And then Truly Unsurpassed is on the Lady Phase mold, and she's also a really good model. I think Breyer did a really good job with her coloring. And I just really like how simple this mold is. Okay, this is my last shelf that's like under my desk, so I promise this is the last shelf that'll have bad lighting. But here we have Harley, the little track pony. This is Lapway or whatever. She was a Tractor Supply exclusive from a few years ago. I couldn't tell you how to pronounce her name, but I call her Aria. And then here we have my snowman, and then my Picasso down here as well. Alright, moving back to my little stand-up box shelf, I have a couple of traditionals on this shelf as well. So first we have Beachcomber, and she was a flagship model from 2017 or 2018, but she's super pretty. Down here we have my Easy to Spot, and he's kind of dressed up in some English tack. And then down here we have my Paint Me a Pepto on the Cutting Horse Mare model, and she's super pretty. I love her little speckly legs. She's super gorgeous. Alright, moving on to my last shelf of my Breyer traditionals. So we'll start down here. So I have all my racehorses. Sorry about that. I have my racehorses on this shelf. So first I have Tiz the Law, American Pharoah, who is also my very first Breyer traditional ever. And then I have my Secretariat, Justify, and California Chrome. On the second shelf, I have Gigi Valentine and her Colt Heartbreaker. This is Marcia Bay, I believe, was the portrait model of her, but I call her Amara because that was a mouthful. And she's on the Halter Arabian Mare mold, and she's super pretty. I love her little face. Arabians are one of my favorite breeds, so I do have a lot of Arabians, if you can't tell. And then here is Empress, who is my favorite Arabian in my entire collection. Absolutely love him, and he's such a really beautiful bay. And he is wearing his halter and little like neckband thing that he came with. This is the 2023 Brick and Mortar exclusive horse, Barranco, something like that. But I renamed him Atlas because I cannot pronounce that name for the life of me. But he is this super beautiful light buckskin horse on the Peruvian Paso mold. And he is absolutely stunning. I love him. He's also very thick and very chunky, and I love that about him. So here is Wilder. He was a Tractor Supply exclusive from a few years back, and he's a really beautiful Bay Roan Appaloosa on the Ethereal mold, and I love this mold with all my heart. This is Stella. She's on the Bluegrass Bandit mold, and she was also a Tractor Supply exclusive from a few years back as well. And she's a minimal Tobiano mare, but I still love her a lot. Next is my Hwin, and she's this dapple gray on the Forever Sage mold, and I love her. She's really beautiful, and I have one with really good dapples, which I never really appreciated when I was younger, but is definitely a good thing now. I absolutely love it. And then here is my Dominante model, and he's super beautiful. I've wanted him for a long time, and I finally got him last year. And he's super beautiful. I love Andalusians. My real horse is part Andalusian, and I love everything about him. He's beautiful. His eyes are a little goofy, but that's okay. These are my last 3 traditionals, and they're also my newest traditionals that I just got a few weeks ago. So this is Casaco, and I think he's a 2024 model, but he's a done like Grulla Lusitano stallion, and he is so gorgeous. I love him so much. I love this mold. I'm a sucker for Spanish horses, so I really do love him. And he does have his brand as well on his hindquarter back here, which I didn't know he had, but he's so beautiful. Beautiful guy. Absolutely love him. And then we have Mojave, and he is the Mustang stallion in this very beautiful chestnut Overo. And he has one blue eye, which is so detailed, love it, and then one brown eye as well on this side. And I've wanted this guy for such a long time, and I'm so happy I finally found him. I was waiting to find him in person because I wanted to like kind of see the coloring and the shading and stuff. And then we have this guy. This is Brooks, the 2025 Tractor Supply exclusive model. But I renamed him Cheerio because that's what came to mind when I first saw him was Cheerio. But he is super beautiful. He's a first on the mold for me. And he has this really beautiful buckskin color, and his face is so sweet. I absolutely love him. And the mold is a lot bigger than I thought it would be. Like, he's very tall and very big, which I did not expect since the mold is originally supposed to be a Morgan horse. But he is so beautiful, and I love him so much. So that is the end of my collection tour for this year. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to see any reviews on any of the models in my collection and a closer look at them, just let me know, and I can definitely do videos on some of the horses. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you guys hopefully in my next video. I know I'm not really super active on this channel, but I really do want to try and be more active. So just let me know in the comments what you think, and if you have any questions. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye!